Multiple people are facing felony charges following a Wednesday afternoon search of a Gering residence by the WING Drug Task Force. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News, powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, a WING drug bust on S Street in Gering on Wednesday lands 3 people behind bars. Court records say during the search of the house, approximately 40 grams of methamphetamine was found in a black coat that investigators believe belonged to 42-year-old Ronnie Murphy of Sydney. Murphy was arrested and is charged with possession of meth 28 to 139 grams, which is a Class 1C felony. Also arrested were 27-year-old Tyson Bachon and 22-year-old Jessica Gillette, both of Gering. Investigators say they found items related to the distribution of narcotics in Bachon's room, including a large amount of cash and pay-o slips, and he's been charged with distribution of a controlled substance. Gillette was arrested and charged with a Class 4 felony, possession of a controlled substance, when officers found a straw on her person that contained a white substance that tested positive for methamphetamine. All 3 were scheduled to make appearances this morning in Scottsbluff County Court on the charges. Well, one Panhandle senator has introduced a bill in the Nebraska legislature on behalf of all U.S. military recruiters from all branches of the military. Gordon Senator Tom Brewer, who's a retired colonel in the U.S. Army, says this bill makes all high schools give the same access to military recruiters as they get at universities, colleges, and trade schools. Brewer says when a high school has a career day and gives students an opportunity to interact with people and different institutions to make a choice after high school graduation, military recruiters should be included in the mix and be given the same access that has been given to other organizations.
For some that have limited access to the resources to go to college, their only opportunity to get out of their situations may very well be the military. And without knowing the opportunities and the different skills that they could access, that inability to talk to the recruiters could impact their lives.
Following debate, the bill advanced by a vote of 44-2. Well, straight ahead, with all the wintry weather we've had over the last few days, Bill Boyer has your weekend weather forecast that you don't want to miss. I'll be back with that right after this on KNEB.TV News.
At Platte Valley Bank, we understand that you have a busy life, and that means you don't always have time to come to the bank. That's why we offer user-friendly online and mobile banking with features such as iPay, recurring transfers, and mobile deposit. So you can bank how you want, when you want to. Whether you prefer to bank in person, over the phone, or online, Platte Valley Bank makes it easy to take care of your finances.
No matter what job I've got to do, my John Deere 5E tractor will do it all. Whether I'm cutting, moving feed, or building a fence. Using my 5E means my work gets done faster at a price I can afford, and that works for me.
Visit 21st Century Equipment in Alliance, Torrington, Scottsbluff, and Bridgeport, or visit 21stcenturyequipment.com.
Arby's 2 for $5 mix and match is here for a limited time. How limited? If I tell you, will you still come right now versus putting it off until oops, the deal is over?
Arby's, we have the meats.
For sandwiches. This is KNEB.TV weather from the Arby's Weather Center. Arby's, we have the meats.
We're going to be dealing with some snow showers this evening across the region, getting redeveloped, and then cloudy skies as we get towards tomorrow morning, and temps going to fall into the teens out there. We'll be looking for some accumulations. Winter weather advisory is in effect. Widespread snow is on the way. Then we kind of have a roller coaster of weather. Overall, though, our forecast confidence remains quite low as we go into the extended period as models keep fluctuating back and forth. 30 yesterday after a morning low of 5. We ended up with another 0.03 of an inch of rain in the rain gauge. That's of snow, rather, melted down was 0.03. Right about normal for the month and just a few hundred short for the year. Temperatures right now, you can see this dividing line of teens and 20s, then down into the 30s. 32 in McCook, 25 up in Norfolk. Let's take a look here in our region. Ogallala, 29, 24 in Valentine. Colder, though, 25 in Scottsbluff and in Torrington. Winds are light out of the east, under 10 miles an hour. Most places under 5, so we don't have too much to worry about in the wind chill department. However, we do have some big changes coming here in the weather. Notice these red shaded areas here in eastern Nebraska. Those areas, wow, we jumped by that really quickly, are actually under some blizzard warnings here in central and eastern Nebraska, over the Omaha area, and then points to the east. The rest of the state here under a winter weather advisory, and that's what we have in our area. The winter weather advisory has been trimmed a bit, no longer includes the northern panhandle. The rest of us, though, under a winter weather advisory until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning in the southern panhandle and into central and eastern portions of Nebraska. And that's where we expect the snow to continue this evening. We get an increase in some snow here during the nighttime hours. That's going to slide off to the east then, and I think by midnight, most of our snow should be over and well to the south and east of us. But winds, you'll notice they're going to start to pick up overnight tonight and into the early morning hours tomorrow. 20 in Oshkosh overnight, 22 in Ogallala, 13 in Alliance. Here is the snow. This is where it's going to be heaviest tomorrow. Notice the winds out of the north. This snow going to continue to be pretty persistent here around the North Platte area and points to the east. Look at the winds pick up tomorrow during the late morning hours. That's going to lead to a period of some blowing snow. And then everything's going to start to die off as we go through the evening tomorrow. Skies will clear out. We have a cold night coming tomorrow night, but our accumulating snow will come to an end and push out away from us as we go through the overnight hours and into early Sunday morning. Highs tomorrow, we're going to actually not be too bad. We may get into the 40-degree range in some of our areas, upper 30s. It's going to depend on how much snow falls in some of those areas. Snowfall totals look like this. We'll take a look first at Scottsbluff. As we pile the snow in here, everybody's pretty consistent now in this half an inch to an inch range. The one forecast model coming in a little higher than the rest. Let's take a look at Alliance then. Same situation. These forecasts are running a bit old, so everything's trending downward to half an inch to an inch in the Alliance area. Here comes Bridgeport then tonight. Maybe a bit more snow in that area. This is certainly the yellow. The GFS has been the outlier. About an inch to 2 inches in the Bridgeport area. And then as we look at Kimball, same situation. Obviously ignore this 10-inch snowfall here at the top. Somewhere in that ballpark of 2 to 3 inches looks like what we're going to be at for snow totals. We'll pile it up an inch or two, I think, in Kimball. Maybe up to an inch in Scottsbluff over to Alliance. Not much more snow expected in the northern panhandle. 2 to 4 inches. Down along the southeastern portions of the panhandle, more to the south and east. Let's take a look at our forecast tonight then. Snow showers, we'll call it 1 to 3 inches. Lesser amounts in the Scottsbluff area and north. More amounts to the south and east. North winds 5 to 10, 14 for a low. Tomorrow, partly cloudy early, partly cloudy later. There will be some blowing snow as winds are going to gust over 40 miles an hour, but we're forecasting 41 for a high. Our 7-day forecast again. Overall confidence is low on every specific day, but we do expect maybe a bit of a warm-up Monday into Tuesday before temps cool down Wednesday, maybe warm back up Thursday. Right now, we'll have to see that frontal system could mean a 30 to 40 degree swing in temperatures across our region next week from day to day and even from point to point. So we'll have to keep a very close eye on this tricky forecast that we have for next week. Overall, though, we don't see any big snowmakers coming into the region.
Arby's 2 for $5 mix and match is here for a limited time. How limited? If I tell you, will you still come right now versus putting it off until oops, the deal is over?
Arby's, we have the meats.
For sandwiches.
Logos in Gering is the place to get all of your school spirit gear, personalized gifts, and promotional items for your business and employees and banners for any special event. Logos is also the only place to stop for custom screen printing or embroidery. You can even design it yourself on their interactive website. Stop into Logos today. They'll design it, print it, and have it to you in no time. There's no job too big or small for Logos. That's Logos in Gering.
Shopping local is great for building our community. TC & More offers the newest trends and latest fashions from jewelry to clothing to purses. Enjoy complimentary coffee as you browse their ever-changing inventory. Perhaps you would like to spruce up your home with some new home decor, or flags, or willow tree figurines. Remember the large selection of games, as well as homemade soaps and lotions for that one-of-a-kind gift. Thank you for thinking of TC and More for those special items. TC and More, 1621 Broadway, in beautiful downtown Scottsbluff.
With Viero's Entertainment Trifecta package, never miss the big play. Work on becoming the new and improved you, or invite friends to compete in the game. Get the power of free. Get 2 new lines of HD Plus and internet service, and we will give you Sling TV, an Air TV player, and a big screen TV, all for free. Get the Entertainment Trifecta package today. Viero Wireless, keeping you connected to the content you love.
Welcome back. Giving back to the United Way of Western Nebraska is a reward in itself. But for one local, weekly payroll deductions to the United Way landed herself a nice vacation package. Becky Corona of Scottsbluff says this is her first year using payroll deduction through her employer of Capwin, but has regularly donated to the United Way over the years.
But this was my first year donating this way. I thought it would be something that's needed because I know how much they help the community, and it's just been on my heart to do this, so I thought I would start.
And her reaction yesterday when she got word that she had won the $3,000 campaign trip from Diana Deeds Travel?
I was in disbelief. I was in shock. I kept asking Steph if she was serious.
Diana Deeds says she's been donating these trips for the United Way for nearly a decade now.
They do so many wonderful things for all the programs that are needed. So it's just my little part in helping United Way to reward the people that do donate.
This year's campaign fundraiser, which closed this afternoon, had a target goal of $335,000.
So by the end of the day, we will know a final total, and we will make that announcement next Friday at a press conference.
Becky Corona says her plans for the trip as of now are to head to sunny South Florida. Well, 2 men are dead and 1 is in critical condition following shootings in Holdridge on yesterday. Police have the suspect, 45-year-old Manuel Gomez, in Phelps County Jail, who is charged with 2 counts of murder, among other charges. 2 of the shootings took place at the Sunrise View Apartments, and the 3rd on Logan Street. 65-year-old Raymond Burton and 54-year-old Davis Rogers were found dead in their apartments, and 64-year-old Doyle Morse was listed in critical but stable condition after being life-flighted to a Kearney hospital. Gomez was arrested following a short, slow-speed pursuit where he drove to the sheriff's office. No word yet on a motive for the shootings. And the Scottsbluff Taco Bell reopened its doors today after nearly a 3-month closure. The business was closed following inspections by the fire department after several people were affected by excessive carbon monoxide, where a failed range hood was determined to be the cause. Scottsbluff Fire Marshal Anthony Murphy signed off the reopening of the restaurant late yesterday afternoon. Well, straight ahead, Hannah and Alex will be in with your Friday 5 recapping the week that was in Ag News. Stick around. KNEB.TV News will be back right after the break.
The Mixing Bowl in Gering, serving breakfast and lunch every day using Grandma Ruth's recipes for 5 years. Stop for lunch and try a Cali Turkey BLT or one of our gourmet burgers. Have a homemade cabbage burger or butterball soup on Thursdays. Or try our weekend brunch and have cinnamon roll pancakes or the roasted duck Benedict. Stop by the Mixing Bowl on your way to work and grab a freshly baked muffin, Grebel, or Dana Kuga out of our bakery case and a specialty coffee made just for you. The Mixing Bowl, 1945 10th Street in Gering, bringing great food and great people together.
Care Heilbrunn State Farm Agent is here to protect all the moving parts of your life. With auto, home, life, and financial services, Care Heilbrunn and her team make it simple to bring together what matters to you.
This is KNEB.TV Ag News from the Western Hearing Clinic Ag Desk. Western Hearing Clinic, the Panhandle's choice for better hearing, helping you hear what matters most.
President's Day, FFA Week, and a not-so-high-speed chase made all the agriculture headlines this week.
We have those stories and more coming up on Friday 5, brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
President's Day was celebrated Monday, and we'd like to recognize a few agriculturalists who later became the Commander-in-Chief.
Now, many people know that George Washington was known as an agriculturist, but maybe you didn't know this. He raised hogs, cattle, sheep, chickens, turkeys, and even bees.
Thomas Jefferson and Jimmy Carter were peanut farmers, and Teddy Roosevelt and Lyndon B. Johnson were cattle ranchers.
President's Day also means this week was National FFA Week.
FFA Week is always held the week of George Washington's birthday to celebrate his contributions to American agriculture. Fun fact, if you didn't already know about the FFA organization, every FFA treasurer is stationed by the emblem of President Washington.
On Tuesday, Nebraska Governor Pete Ricketts officially proclaimed it FFA Week in Nebraska. It even trended on Twitter. So as we were surfing through Twitter, we found a few FFA chapters across the state taking part in the celebration.
Now let's go to Susan Littlefield, who has been incarning this week for Nebraska Cattlemen's Classic.
Thanks, Hannah and Alex. It is the 28th annual Nebraska Cattlemen's Classic taking place at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds, and weather did not stop folks from making it not only to the shows but the sales every afternoon. As we wrap up those sales later today, heifers have been bringing on average about $2,600 and bulls have been about that same price, but that's looking across all the breeds, with more sales yet to come this afternoon and all the youth events this weekend. I'll send it back to you guys in Lincoln.
Thanks, Susan. Well, watermelons took a victory lap at NASCAR's Daytona 500 last weekend. Well, kind of.
Florida watermelon farmer Ross Chastain finished in the top 10 at the Daytona 500.
Chastain impressed a sponsor with his farm work ethic, as many of us can relate, and that landed him a career as a racer. So now he leaves the heavy lifting on his family's watermelon farm to his dad and his brother as he races his watermelon car.
Well, finally this week, speaking of races, I think this is my favorite story. Grand Island police officers were off to the races with a steer.
This video was captured by a Grand Island resident Monday, and if we had to guess, he probably was not expecting this on his commute.
It was reported that the steer escaped from the JBS beef plant. Eventually, it went to a detention area where it was put down and picked up by a rendering plant. We'll be back next week for another episode of Friday 5 presented by the Nebraska Corn Board.
This is Mike. Mike likes his car. Mike likes to save money. And Mike likes to breathe. So Mike fills up with E15 with 15% American ethanol. The clean octane in E15 gives Mike the performance he wants from his engine and the clean air he wants for his family. Better yet, E15 costs less at the pump. Higher octane, cleaner air, lower cost. E15 sure gives Mike a lot to like. Discover E15 with American ethanol.
Regional West is one of 3 Level 2 trauma centers in Nebraska.
We have all the resources here 24 hours a day to address any traumatic injury.
From emergency medical services to advanced medical imaging and surgery to acute care and rehabilitation.
It's comforting to know that if an accident happens here, our families, our friends, our neighbors, and even we ourselves will get expert trauma care and rehabilitation services right here at Regional West.
When it comes to helping local folks with the loans and financial advice they need, we don't horse around. Our only goal is to help you and your family achieve your financial goals with the right loans and savings products. So if you want to bank with people that care about you and your financial needs, stop by or give us a call. First State Bank. We're big on you. Member FDIC. Online at FSBCentral.com.
Let's take a peek at what's happening on your weekend community calendar. That's a look at today's community calendar, brought to you by First State Bank, honoring those who give back. Nominate your community champion at FSBCentral.com.
This chair is way too big. It's perfect for us. This one's tiny. That's 'cause it's mine. Hey, this chair is just right. This bed is way too hard. It's perfect for me. This bed is way too soft. Ah, just what I needed. This bed is just right. So come on over to Leaf Heads.
It is never too early to start planning for retirement, and working with an experienced financial advisor can put you on the right path.
At Platte Valley Investment Center, our team of financial advisors will work with you every step of the way to maximize your retirement income.
Call me, Jody Rosiska, or Rick Morehouse, financial advisors, to set up your free, no-obligation consultation.
Raymond James Financial Services Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Life well planned.
And finally tonight, before we break for the weekend, it's once again time to honor the Platte Valley Company's Star Students of the Week. For this week's Star Student of the Week, we head to Gering High School, where Platte Valley Bank Executive Vice President Zach Karpf took things to a new level by nominating Brett Mosier's entire robotics physics class.
This class won a statewide award from Samsung for a science project to help the handicapped, developing eye tracking software for wheelchairs. They'll now go on to compete in the national Samsung competition. This is the third time in 4 years that a class at Gering High School has won the statewide award, and they won the national award a couple years ago. They are therefore very deserving of a Star Student Award and have done very well in representing our community. Congratulations, Gering High School robotics physics class.
Afterwards, we caught up with a handful of students who talked about the project, who says the idea for the eye-controlled wheelchair began to formulate last school year.
I think we had mentioned it as early as the end of last year, hadn't we? Yeah. And we had like, we're circulating a few ideas, to come up with for next year, and we had a pool of ideas. And that was when that got mentioned, and we eventually narrowed it down to just that one.
And the students say there were a lot of challenges turning this vision into a reality.
There's a lot of just the mental process of thinking, this is what I want to do, and following that out with actual programming and actual putting together the whole breadboard and everything else. It was a lot to kind of get through, but we managed to do it pretty well.
Being selected as one of the 5 Nebraska State finalists and then the Nebraska State finalists were high points on this journey. But for these Star students, it was more about the engineering.
Yeah, that would have been a sweet point, but the main goal of it all was just to get it to work. I mean, getting first place or whatever is the end goal. Getting it to actually think, okay, we're going to do this, jumping over barriers and stuff, and actually seeing it work, it's just amazing.
I think the one sweetest moment for me is when we were out in the shop and we saw it work firsthand, and we saw it actually drive around. That was the best moment for me.
And a major player in the project fell onto Matthew Eckerberg, who spearheaded the final video project that was submitted to Samsung.
So it was a big project, and we worked on it for up until last week. Last week on Friday was the last day of having to work on the video, because that was the deadline day. So from the start of January up until Friday last week, we were working on the video, and so we were, you can see I think the title of the final video is Rough Draft Number 9 or something. So we went through iteration after iteration of the video, and it was definitely a long process getting the video to a point that we felt like we could compete nationally with it.
And Mr. Mosier agrees that each one of these juniors and seniors is a Star Student in their own right.
Yeah, they each find a role that they fulfill in there, and some more than others, and we all play a role in how things get unfolded. So, when others were doing other things, as long as they were behaving, things went smooth.
Congratulations once again to Mr. Mosier's entire class, recognized as the Platte Valley Company's Star Students of the Week. And if you'd like to nominate a deserving K-12 student to be the next Star Student of the Week, you can find nomination forms online at www.pvbank.com. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.